Hey, what's up, guys? It's Young Baby Tate, and this is a Sarah Harrison exclusive 12 Days of Litness. Ooh, not Litness.
It's another episode of Sarah Harrison exclusive 12 Days of Litmus, and we're taking it to one of my favorite cities. You should know by now, it's Atlanta, and she is a feisty one. I'm telling you, she's young, she's a baby to be specific, and her name is Tate. What's good, girl?
Hey, what's up, Sarah?
I'm doing great now that you've joined me.
Talking.
She wants to be a part of the fun.
She's a showstopper.
Well, introduce her. She might as well.
That back there is my baby Toffee. She is, how old is she now? I think like 7 months old, just a little baby. She's so curious, always wants to play. Toffee, come here.
See, I am not a cat person, but this looks adorable.
Yeah, I'm more of a cat person than a dog person. I don't know why.
Maybe, did you grow up with pets in the house?
I did actually. My mom had a cat when I was like a baby. So I've always been more partial to cats. And the only other pets that we had, like my mom had a snake. We had a frog. Well, I like this one time we had a cat and a frog at the same time. Like I ordered this tadpole and I like raised it from birth to a frog. And then this one day we left the house and my cat, I think, ate the frog because we came home and it was gone.
A frog and a snake is not a very conventional set of pets. And a cat.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I didn't grow up with any pets. I wasn't allowed any in the house. But hey, maybe one day. Maybe one day. I mean, I struggle to look after myself, so I'd hate to think how the pet would cope. But young baby Tay. All right. Why young? Why baby? Couldn't you choose one? Why did you go for that name?
Well, actually, Young Baby Tate has been my like Instagram social media handle since like 2012. And this is before I was like putting music out. And it came to me because I had a friend who his Instagram name was like Young Lord Tony or something like that. And this one time I was like sick and I posted like a picture of myself on Instagram and I was like, Young Lord Tate is sick. And he commented and was like, Young Lord, more like young baby. And I was like, I actually like that. And I just changed my Instagram name to Young Baby Tate. And yeah, at first that wasn't my stage name. My stage name was just Tate, which is my real first name. But people just kept calling me Young Baby Tate because they were, booking me through social media and seeing me on social media. So they would be like, coming to the stage, Young Baby Tate. And I'm like, you guys, it's just Tate. But then I was just like, well, it sticks. So might as well just go by that. And yeah, that's been my stage name now for 5 years.
It's cool because you can have initials, YVT, and
Yeah.
yeah, you can remix it a couple of times, right? Do you think it's important for artists to have a stage name actually? Is that something that you feel like can differentiate the person, the human, from the artist, the creative?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think it's definitely a difference between people who chose a stage name versus people whose stage name are their names. Like, I don't know. For me, I think that when you choose a stage name, it just kind of gives you the opportunity to be on stage and like then when you're not on stage you can just be you, but when you are like your name, it's like you're always, for instance, I'm like, who am I thinking of now? Who has like a, that's their name,
Oh, their government name is their real name.
or yeah, like Sam Smith. I don't know if that's his real name, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're Sam Smith, right? Like, that's your name. But if you were like, I don't know,
I know,
E40.
right?
Like E40 is like a different, who knows you for E40 versus like who knows him for Earl, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it gives that barrier for me. But then for me it's weird because Tate is my actual name. So people still like call me Tate, and it's like, do I really know you, or are you a fan? I don't know. Whatever.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Well, you got the best of both, I guess. Am I right in saying that you come from a performing arts background?
Yes, yes. I went to performing arts, elementary school, middle school, and high school. So from third to 12th grade, I was in the performing arts.
And what's third grade in the US? What age is that?
I think like 8.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, pretty much the majority of your childhood, like turning into a teenager, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So it's actually been the same for me. I come from a theatre school background, and I wanted to ask you this question. What was your take on that journey of being a creative, but you are as well, quote unquote, in an institution, like in that kind of environment? What was that process like for you? Did you enjoy it? Did you feel like at times, this that wasn't the place for you? Yeah, I wanna hear your perspective.
No, I enjoyed it so much. I often say that like if I didn't go to the schools that I went to, like I would be a completely different person and a completely different artist. Because the schools that I went to allowed me to foster my imagination, my creativity, and also to grow and to learn from, professionals, people that went to school for these things, and could teach me the technicalities of things, and not just like, you're out here just doing it and you have raw talent, but I actually have training in these types of things. So for me, it's like if I didn't go to a performing arts high school, I would have went to my home school was Columbia High School, which you don't know what that is, but it's low key a little ratchet. And if I would have went there, I don't know who I would be right now, but I just thank God. Like, oh my God, I'm so happy I didn't go there.
Is that in
Woo!
Atlanta?
It is. It's on the east side of Atlanta. It's in Decatur. And yeah, it's a bit wild there, and I'm just glad I didn't go. But I often say, like, yeah, if I didn't go to DSA, DeKalb Elementary School of the Arts, or DeKalb School of the Arts, like, I would not be the same artist I am. I wouldn't be the same person that I am. A lot of times I used to wish that our school was more than it was, because going into the school, I thought that we were going to be on some High School Musical shit, on some fame shit. Like we would just be running down the halls, like busting into song. But like, whenever we would try to do that, like start singing in the hallways and stuff like that, our principal would be like, "Get to class, campers. Get to class.
Oh
This is
my
not
gosh.
musical in the hallway."
Oh no, it was like that in my school. Trust me, people would break out into song in the middle of a like math class. I was just like, this is too much for me.
I loved it.
So I'm interested then. What was one of your favorite shows growing up then?
I have so many favorite shows growing up. Oh my gosh. But I was like a Disney girl. I was very much so a Disney Channel girl. So like um High School Musical, Camp Rock, like I loved those movies. And I really wanted that for my life so badly. What else did I watch growing up? Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven. Um,
What about Broadway shows? Like, were you into that?
I was into it. I got more into it as I got into high school, but one of my favorite Broadway musicals is Legally Blonde, the musical. I watched that musical like on repeat. One time it came on MTV, and my god sister, who also went to DeKalb School of the Arts with me, she was like 4 years older than me though. She recorded it on TiVo, and we used to watch that musical front to back to front to back. Like that was our shit. So Legally Blonde the musical is my favorite.
Yeah, there's a very clear distinction between American musicals and British musicals, right? Like the American ones are just loud. I felt like musicals as a whole always tailored to sopranos. Like if you weren't a soprano, like you were not getting the lead.
You're
Like
not.
you were.
You're not. You could sing in the background in the choir, you know, you could be one of the dancers, whatever, but you're not the lead. I want
Yeah.
somebody to make an alto lead musical. Whoever you are out there watching, please make an alto lead musical so I can audition because I'm an alto and
Word. Touche. Let's take it to your music now. You have been dropping for quite a while now. Since 2015, you've been putting projects out, your own bodies of work. And I really enjoy that you have kind of taken your background into your own personal music, and just explored your different facets. And yeah, I've really enjoyed your journey. And 2020 has seen the release of an EP, After the Rain. So you gave us this just before we closed out 2020. And the first track on that is Lessons Learned, or Lesson Learned. So I guess this is something that's been on our mind in 2020. What has been a lesson learned for you?
Oh my gosh, so many lessons, so many lessons. I think the biggest lesson for me um was to focus on myself first. Um it's kind of that thing when you're on a plane and they're like, if the plane runs out of oxygen or some shit, like make sure you put your mask on first and then put on the child's mask or whoever's mask after. But if you don't put your mask on, like then you can't help anybody else. So I think me, I'm oftentimes a helper and I want to see other people succeed and want to help out other people. But it's like if I am not straight first, then I'm doing myself a disservice. So I think that is the biggest lesson that I've learned, which is why now I'm just like getting very deep into self care, self love, you know, self motivation, and yeah. So that's one of my biggest lessons. But then also just it's all really been about self because I think this year I poured so much of myself into someone else. Um, and so my biggest lesson was like, wait a minute, remind yourself who you are first, and
Yeah,
continue to grow first with me because I can't really like pour out into anyone else without pouring into myself first.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think as creatives, we're victims of that because we always want to make sure that the other person receiving us is like, we are our best self all the time, but we can't be our best self all the time. Like, we're humans, like people have ups and downs. So especially yourself being in the limelight and your image as a whole, like being a woman is on a different level to being a male artist. So it does take a toll. So I'm very glad that you've learned that lesson. And I'm not sure if you intended the pun of you wearing the mask, the fact that we all had to wear masks.
No.
I was like, that was such a good metaphor. That's funny, but it's true. It's true. Something that's at the forefront of your music is not only you championing your own femininity, but I really like the dynamics between you and other women that share this music space with you, right? I saw a video recently that went up on Twitter with Ari Lennox singing "Break Me Off," and you were in the background like dance. I don't know if you caught wind.
Yeah, yeah. I love that video. It goes viral like every 6 months or something. But that was just such a great time. Like I love Ari. I love her music. I love her. I love her. Like she is such a sweet person. The first time I ever met her, I was like, are you real? Like she's so sweet that it seems like she's like a cartoon character. Like are you real? Like, but that's really her. She's just so sweet. So that was such a great moment. Everybody in the room was just having a great time supporting her and supporting that song because Break Me Off is a bop. Like, so we were all having a good time and I'm always gonna hype everybody up. I'm loud as fuck in the back of that video. Like I know my voice, so I can hear myself in the back and I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, hey, what you say? Break me off, Ari.
That is great. I
so
love it. Yeah, it's good energy, and I think we need to see more of that because other women feed off of that, supporting each other. I know it's like a topic of conversation all the time that female artists tear each other down, but it doesn't even need to be talked about. If you see it, then that's what it should be like, like it's not rocket science. And you really feed off well the energies between you and Flo Milli on that track. Like that is a banger. You even start with "I am healthy." Well, I think that's the hook. "I am healthy. I am wealthy." Talk about that.
So this one day I was just writing at home. I was just writing down some affirmations. And when I started to write them, they were, kind of in a poem type thing. And I went into the studio with this chorus that I had, and I was like, yo, I really want to put this down on a song, like, because I want other people to say this. In like an affirmation type of way. I want people to say this and repeat it so that they start to believe it and start to live it and walk it. um, and so we made the song. We finally found the right beat for it. And I laid my verses down. And I was like, you know what? You know who would sound crazy on this shit? Like, who would just eat, like devour? Flo Milli. So I hit her up. We follow each other because, I love her music. And I was like, yo, girl, I just did this song yesterday that I know you would eat. And she's like, send it to me. Boom, bow, bow, bow. And that's how that happened. We linked up in the studio for a quick second, just to talk about the song for a quick second. But then I just pretty much let her do her thing and do her thing she did. And I'm just
Definitely.
really excited that we could bring our energies together on a song, because I think that we're very similar in the energy that we give to people, and specifically to women, which is just like it's like a cocky, like confidence, and a self-esteem booster that we
Hmm.
both have. So us on a song together is just like self-esteem boost times 10, bow, 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 bow. And I
Yeah,
just
it's
love
like comets hitting you from space. Like,
yeah.
it's fire. Like, I really, really, really loved it. So, now that you've said affirmations, I mean, I listen to affirmations before I go to sleep. I'm not sure I'm gonna go to sleep to that song, but but I'll do it. I'll do it for my morning affirmations for
Yes,
sure.
yes, that's definitely a morning one.
Yeah, for sure, right? And Vacation is my favorite track off of this project. And I realized Kaylani has got a little credit on there. Is she writing on it? No?
No, where does she have a credit on it?
She's credited on Vacation on Spotify.
I don't, we have to fix that.
Please fact check that right now.
Fix that. No, I actually was trying to get her on the song, so it may have been that we didn't, or maybe someone just didn't fix that, because we
The
were in
back
talks with
end.
her being on the song. So
Okay.
maybe that just didn't get fixed, but no, she didn't write on this song.
Oh wow, but I guess you have got a relationship. Oh, you have written with her before?
No, we've never written together. Mm-mm.
What on earth? Maybe it's just putting out there in the universe that you should be making a record together. How about
Yeah.
that? But you have written with a lot of artists. I know that when I was out in Atlanta, I was actually part of the camp that Marley put together, Earth Girl. So yeah, so I remember you were involved in that. You were also involved in Revenge of the Dreamers. So it seems like you're like an ingredient that everyone wants a taste of, right?
Hey, a little bit, a little bit. And it's really interesting. It's really funny because the Dreamville sessions was the first time that I ever was in writing sessions. And I didn't even know that people saw me as a writer, even though I write all of my own music. But yeah, that was like my first time in a writing session. And then I did the Earth Girl camp, and then I did the Insecure writing session, which is how I got teamed up with Issa. But yeah, I love doing writing sessions. Obviously, there haven't been many now since of COVID, but yeah, I'm little spark. People want to dibble and dabble a little bit.
It's dope because writing sessions are always tricky, or it's always tricky to know who to invite into writing sessions because it's a team effort. Um, and it's not about like who's the loudest voice and which voice is silencing the other voice. Like it's such a difficult dynamic to capture, but it seems like you're that perfect fit because you just get on with it, or when to contribute. It's hard. And that Dreamville was so extensive. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it it was obviously invite only, but I noticed that, you know, it was quite a few people that were invited in the end and in the same rooms. So that was a good transition, actually. Issa Rae, um, you are part of her new, the Audio Everywhere company, Raedio Music. Tell me then, how did you end up in this situation, and what actually is it? What's the partnership like?
So I ended up in this situation through the writing camp that I was a part of. I got invited to do be a part of the soundtrack writing camp, which was like a 2-day camp back in I think December of last year. Um, Went out to LA, was there for 2 days, ended up making like 6 songs. I think two of them end up on the show or on the soundtrack. And then another one of my songs ended up on the show as well. And after the writing camp, I think the radio team was just extremely impressed with my work and what I was able to do and how versatile I am. So they were like, we want to talk to you about, potentially signing with Raedio. And at the time, I actually had a few deals on the table um, from other labels, but at the time, I was still in a distribution deal with Streamcut, who is I'm still with them right now. But basically, the partnership is between like me, Raedio, and Streamcut. So we're all working together to just put my music out and give it the best life that it can have. But what was extremely important to me was that I continue to maintain ownership of all of my masters. So that's also like a part of the reason why I signed with Raedio versus other people. And I just really like their team a lot. I love the fact that it's full of Black people that, understand me and my music and aren't trying to push me to be something else or do something different than what I'm doing already. They just want to um, enhance what I am already doing. So,
Or box you in, like,
right, exactly. They don't
yeah.
want to put me in either. And then also, I'm just a huge fan and admirer of Issa and of her work and of her work ethic and the things that she's done and continues to do for our community and for Black women specifically. So I just was like, these are my people. Let's do it.
Yeah, when it feels right, it feels right. I guess it removes that daunting feeling of like, well, hang on, this is a new thing. Should I really like dive into it like that? But if it feels right, you know, why not?
Yeah. And it felt right. So
And you are like the first artist, right? And also there's one more artist.
yes, TMR was their first signee. But I think I'm their first partnership artist for sure. I don't think they've done this before because they're under Atlantic and I'm not signed with Atlantic. So this is definitely something new for all of us, but I'm not the first signee.
Okay, all right. But you're part of the inception, I would say anyway. Early stages, early stages. I like the cover art of this EP. I feel like you channeled your like Madonna.
Oh, really? Thank
I
you.
really do see that in you. Like, you know, Madonna had like these iconic looks, and I think that you really like to experiment with your image, and I love that. I love that in women. It's not about, as I said, being boxed in or always needing to look a certain way. Like you're trialing out different things. That who are you trying to channel specifically here? Obviously Tate, but I guess inspiration wise.
So my inspiration for the cover was actually Beyonce and Sierra. I remember seeing this tweet one time where it was like, that if the back cover, all you can see is their back, then the album is gonna slap. And it was like Sierra's album. I think it was Beyonce's album. I think I want to say it was A. Marie and like one other artist from like the 2000s, like early 2000s R&B female artist. I can't remember right now, but when I saw that, oh, I think it was Aaliyah as well.
Aaliyah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and I was like, oh man, I have to do this. Like, I want to do this for my next project. So that's where the inspiration came from. And then as far as the clothes, like from the clothes to even the editing, it was very heavy, like inspired by Beyonce, Dangerously in Love. and then Sierra goodies. So it was like a mixture of those two, because Beyonce is so glamorous, but Sierra is so like girl next door. And I
Sure.
feel like that's kind of me. I'm like the girl next door that's like hella fly and like don't fuck with her.
Word. And I love that, you have this like star quality and star presence, but you're so down to earth and you can have a level conversation. Like,
Exactly.
no divas here.
Only
No.
sometimes.
Well, any message that you have for your UK fans? Because I'm sure you've got listeners over here.
All my UK fans, I love the UK. I wish I could get over there more often. Hopefully, when COVID has wrapped up a little bit more, we can finally meet each other, because I haven't really done any shows. I haven't done any shows in the UK yet. So
No.
hopefully 2021 we can finally be together, me and my UK tots. I love you guys so much. Um I love you all like you really did to my heart. And, like I hope that we can hug each other and, drink tea together and like sip tea. What's tea, babes? And, it's going to be pain in it.
You convinced me. You convinced me. I'm not gonna lie. Did you actually have to? Did you study that? Did you have to go through that in training? No.
What's so crazy is my mom, like growing up, when I was like a kid, like a toddler, like my mom's done a lot of traveling, so she would do like a British accent sometimes, and I would sometimes just be like, "Mom, can you do the accent again? Do it again, do it again." And she would be like, "Tay, like what? Come on, let's eat, like blah 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 blah." And I would copy her, so that's how I learned
Dope.
how to do it.
Well, that's another string to your bow when you do eventually tap in with the acting, because I can see you doing that for sure.
Yes.
360 artist right here, man. Triple threat. Young baby Tate. Thank you so much for spending the holidays with me. I wish you such a great holiday. Continue being healthy and wealthy.
Yes. You too.